The digital diary that never closes. There was a time when childhood disappeared quietly. A scraped knee healed. An embarrassing school photo stayed hidden in a dusty family album. A tantrum in the grocery store became nothing more than an awkward story your parents laughed about years later. Those moments were temporary. Today, they can become permanent. Think about that for a second. Before a child even learns to write their own name, before they understand what privacy means, before they're old enough to say, "Please don't post that," someone else may already be building their digital identity. Not maliciously, not carelessly, but lovingly. A pregnancy announcement, the first ultrasound, the first smile, the first birthday, the first day of school, one post after another. A digital life begins long before the real one does. And here's the unsettling part. Most parents don't do this because they're chasing attention. They do it because they're doing what humans have always done. They want to celebrate, to stay connected with grandparents who live across the country, to let friends watch their child grow, to hear someone say, "You're doing a great job." That tiny notification, that heart, that comment, it feels harmless, because in that moment it is. But the internet doesn't experience those memories the way you do. You see your child's first soccer game. The internet sees a face, a school logo stitched onto a jersey, a street sign in the background, a location tag, a timestamp, 100 tiny details that no parent was trying to share, yet shared anyway. Every photo carries more than a memory. It carries information, tiny pieces that seem meaningless on their own, until someone or something puts them together. That's how digital footprints are built. Not through one reckless decision, through hundreds of completely ordinary ones. And here's what makes this story even more uncomfortable. Most parents already know there are risks. They've heard about privacy. They've heard about online predators. They've heard about identity theft. But they keep posting, not because they don't care, because the danger feels distant, while the reward feels immediate. A smile from family, a flood of likes, a sense of connection. Our brains have always chosen the reward we can feel today over the threat we might face years from now. That's not bad parenting. It's human psychology. And social media understands that better than almost anyone. Every post becomes another signal, another piece of data, another chapter in a story your child never chose to write. And once it's online, you don't control where that story goes next.
What can parents do right now? You don't have to stop celebrating your child's life. But before you tap, pause for one simple question. If my child were 18 years old today, would they want this photo, this story, or this moment to still exist online? If the answer isn't a confident yes, keep it where it was always meant to live. Inside your family's memories, not the internet's. Because the most valuable gift you can give your child isn't another post. It's the freedom to decide their own digital story when they're finally old enough to write it.
And that would already be reason enough to slow down. But what happens after a single photo leaves your phone is something most parents never see. And in the age of artificial intelligence, that invisible journey has become far more dangerous than almost anyone realizes. Every photo tells a story to someone you never invited. Imagine you upload a photo that took less than 3 seconds to capture. Your child is smiling. Maybe they're wearing their new school uniform. Maybe there's a birthday cake on the table, a backpack leaning against the wall, the family dog running through the yard. To you, it's just another beautiful memory. But the internet doesn't see memories. It sees data, a school logo, a neighborhood, a house number reflected in a window, a geotag hidden inside the image, the date it was taken, the device that captured it, tiny details that seem invisible, until someone starts connecting them. One photo doesn't reveal much, neither does the second, or the 10th. But over the years, those scattered moments begin forming a complete map of a child's life. Where they go, who they're with, what they look like as they grow, what routines they follow. And here's where the story takes a turn most people never expect. You may think your audience is a few hundred friends. The internet doesn't make that distinction. The moment something is uploaded, it can be copied, downloaded, screenshotted, shared, or archived by people you've never met. And now, artificial intelligence has changed the rules completely. A single clear photo of a child's face isn't always just a picture anymore. It can become training material, a digital fingerprint. A face that AI systems can analyze, imitate, or manipulate. With enough images, technology can generate convincing fake photos, fake videos, even synthetic voices that look and sound frighteningly real. The child never stood in front of that camera, never said those words, never lived that moment. Yet the internet can make millions believe they did. That's the reality of deepfakes. And AI isn't the only concern. The more personal information available online, the easier it becomes for bad actors to piece together someone's identity. Birthdays, full names, schools, favorite places, family members. Each detail feels harmless by itself. Together, they become a blueprint, one that can be exploited for identity theft, scams, cyberbullying, or harassment years later. The frightening part isn't that every child will become a victim. It's that no parent can predict which photo will be harmless and which one will outlive childhood itself. Because the internet doesn't forget, it doesn't grow old, it doesn't move on, it remembers everything, long after everyone else has.
So what can parents actually do? The goal isn't to live in fear, it's to become intentional. Before posting, take 30 seconds and look at the image like a stranger would. Ask yourself, can I see my child's school name? Is our home or street visible? Does this reveal our daily routine or location? Does this really need my child's face to tell the story? Whenever possible, turn off location tagging. Avoid showing school uniforms, home addresses, or license plates. Share private moments in family group chats instead of public feeds. And remember that your child's face is more than a photograph. It is biometric data that deserves the same care as a fingerprint. Because privacy isn't about hiding your child from the world. It's about giving them the chance to decide how much of themselves the world gets to see.
But here's the question that kept bothering researchers. If parents know these risks, if they've heard about AI, if they've heard about identity theft, why do they keep posting anyway? The answer has far less to do with technology, and far more to do with the way the human mind quietly convinces itself. Nothing bad will happen to me. The lie we tell ourselves. Here's the part that surprised psychologists the most. They expected parents who understood the risks to post less. They didn't. Again and again, researchers found something unexpected. Many parents could clearly explain the dangers of sharing their children's lives online. They knew about privacy. They knew about identity theft. They had heard stories of cyberbullying. Some had even experienced strangers leaving disturbing comments or using their child's photos without permission. And yet, their behavior barely changed. At first, that doesn't make sense. Until you realize something uncomfortable. Knowing a risk and feeling a risk are two completely different things. You've experienced this before. You know texting while driving is dangerous. You know eating unhealthy food has consequences. You know scrolling for just 5 minutes often turns into an hour. Knowledge isn't always what drives behavior. Emotion is. And social media is built around emotion. Every notification whispers the same message. People care. Every heart, every comment, every share. Your brain doesn't process them as numbers. It experiences them as tiny moments of social approval. Without realizing it, posting stops being only about preserving memories. It becomes part of staying connected, feeling seen, feeling like you're not parenting alone. Then something even more powerful happens. You open your feed. One family posts their baby's first steps. Another shares a graduation. Another uploads vacation photos. Thousands of parents are doing exactly the same thing. Slowly, your brain stops asking, "Is this safe?" and starts asking, "Why would this be different from everyone else?" Psychologists call this social proof. When enough people normalize a behavior, our minds quietly label it as safe. Not because we've investigated it, because we've seen it often enough. That's why even parents who regretted earlier posts, or dealt with trolling, or received offensive comments, often continued posting just as frequently afterward. The habit had become stronger than the warning. And perhaps the biggest illusion of all is believing that nothing serious will happen because nothing serious has happened yet. Risk has a strange way of hiding. It stays invisible until the day it isn't.
How do you break that cycle? Not by becoming afraid, by creating space between emotion and action. Before posting anything about your child, give yourself one simple rule. Wait 24 hours. If the photo still feels worth sharing tomorrow, post it. If the urge disappears, it probably wasn't about preserving a memory. It was about satisfying a moment. And another habit can quietly change everything. Instead of asking, "Will people like this?" ask, "Will my child thank me for this 10 years from now?" That one question shifts your attention away from the algorithm and back to the person who matters most. Because childhood isn't content, it's someone's future memory.
But then the internet introduced something even more seductive than likes: money. And once childhood became profitable, the line between sharing memories and selling them began to disappear. When childhood becomes a business, there's a moment when everything changes. It doesn't happen with the first post or the 10th. It happens the first time a parent notices that video got twice as many views. Maybe it was a funny tantrum, a child crying, an embarrassing mistake, a deeply personal family moment. The comments explode, the views climb, followers arrive. Then the brand emails start showing up. "We'd love to work with you." At first, it feels like a dream. Share your family's life and get paid for it. Who wouldn't want that? But something subtle begins to happen. Without realizing it, the camera stops capturing life. Life starts happening for the camera. A birthday isn't just a birthday anymore. It's content. A family vacation isn't just a vacation. It's an upload schedule. Even difficult moments begin to carry a dangerous thought. People will probably watch this. And that's exactly where the algorithm quietly steps in. Algorithms don't understand childhood. They don't understand dignity. They don't understand consent. They understand one thing: attention. If a video keeps people watching, it gets pushed to more people. If people comment, it spreads further. If people argue, it spreads even faster. The algorithm isn't asking, "Is this good for the child?" It's asking, "Will this keep people on the platform?" And sometimes, those two goals point in completely opposite directions. Research has shown something deeply unsettling. Videos showing children in emotionally intense, embarrassing, or distressing situations often receive unusually high engagement. Not because people are cruel, because human attention is naturally drawn toward emotion. The algorithm notices that, then rewards it. Little by little, parents can begin making decisions that serve the algorithm instead of the child. Not because they're evil, because incentives shape behavior. If your family's income depends on views, every decision becomes harder. Should you keep filming? Should you post another private moment? Should you let your child say no, even if that video could pay next month's bills? These aren't easy questions. They're ethical ones, and children can't truly answer them. A 6-year-old can't understand what millions of strangers seeing their worst moment might mean 10 years later. They can't negotiate contracts. They can't evaluate lifelong digital consequences. Yet their face, their emotions, their childhood can become the product being sold. One heartbreaking example shocked millions. Family vlogger Ruby Frank built a massive audience by sharing her children's lives. Behind the camera, those children later described humiliation, coercion, and abuse carried out in the name of creating content. What looked like entertainment was hiding suffering. That case became one of the reasons new laws were introduced to better protect children appearing in monetized social media content. Because for decades, child actors in television and film had legal protections: working hours, rest breaks, protected earnings. But children creating content online with their parents often had almost none. The internet created an entirely new kind of child performer, before society had time to protect them.
So where's the line? There's nothing wrong with sharing joyful family moments. There's nothing wrong with creating content. The problem begins when a child's privacy becomes the price of engagement. A simple rule can help. Before pressing record, ask yourself, if this video earned 0 views and $0, would I still share it? If the answer is no, the post may be serving the algorithm more than your child. And if your child is old enough to understand, ask them, not because the law requires it, because respect does. Give them permission to say no. And make sure no doesn't come with guilt or disappointment, because one day, the internet will move on to the next trend, the next viral family, the next creator, but your child will still be living with the digital footprint created in their name.
The hardest truth is this: parents were never supposed to fight this battle alone. They're trying to make thoughtful decisions inside systems deliberately designed to keep them posting. So maybe the biggest question isn't, why are parents sharing so much? Maybe it's, why have we built a digital world that rewards sharing children more than protecting them? And answering that question may be the only way to protect the next generation, the future they never chose. Imagine meeting your child 20 years from now. They're no longer the toddler you carried through the grocery store. They're an adult, building a career, falling in love, trying to figure out who they are. Then one afternoon, they type their own name into a search bar, and waiting for them is a version of themselves they never chose to create. Baby photos, embarrassing stories, videos of their worst moments, private memories shared before they even understood what privacy meant. Not because someone hacked them, not because they made a mistake, because someone else made those decisions for them. That's the quiet cost of sharenting. It doesn't always hurt today. Sometimes, it waits years before anyone realizes what was lost. The ability to decide who gets to know your story. And that's why experts say this conversation can't end with one sentence. Parents should just be more careful, because that places the entire burden on families, while ignoring the systems designed to make sharing effortless. Social media platforms know exactly what keeps people posting. They know emotional content spreads faster. They know family moments generate engagement. They know algorithms can amplify a single post to millions of strangers. If technology can recognize a face, it can also recognize when that face belongs to a child. If it can recommend the next video you'll watch, it can warn a parent before they publish a photo containing a school logo, a home address, or a precise location. If artificial intelligence can create convincing deepfakes, it can also help stop images of children from being manipulated in the first place. The technology already exists. The question is whether protecting children becomes as important as maximizing engagement. But while governments debate laws and platforms decide what they're willing to change, families still have choices. And those choices begin with something surprisingly simple: a conversation. Not when your child turns 18. Now, even young children can understand questions like, "Are you comfortable with me sharing this picture?" They may not be able to give legal consent, but they can give something just as meaningful: their voice. When parents pause and listen, they teach something much bigger than internet safety. They teach respect. They show that privacy isn't about hiding, it's about ownership, that your story belongs to you. As children grow older, those conversations grow with them. They learn that every post has an audience. Every upload leaves a footprint. Every click can last longer than the moment itself. That's digital citizenship. Not living in fear of technology, but learning to use it without surrendering yourself to it.
One last thought. Years from now, your child probably won't remember how many likes a photo received. They won't remember how many strangers commented with heart emojis. But they will inherit the digital identity created before they were old enough to understand it. Every photo you don't post isn't a memory that's lost. It's a choice you're saving for them, the chance to decide what the world gets to know. And in an age where almost everything is shared, that choice may become one of the greatest gifts a parent can give. Because childhood was never meant to be content. It was meant to be lived.
The internet has given us an incredible ability to capture every moment, but maybe the moments that matter most are the ones that belong only to the people who live them. Sometimes, the greatest act of love isn't pressing share, it's quietly pressing keep.
If this changed the way you think about the digital world we live in, you're exactly who this channel is for. Every video, we explore the hidden psychology behind technology, human behavior, and the decisions shaping our future. If you want documentaries that don't just give you information, but change the way you see the world, subscribe and join us. Because the most important conversations are usually the ones nobody else is having.